Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to the February 18th Economic Development Authority meeting. I hope that everyone has done their shopping for food. We're all anticipating quite a snowfall next couple of days. Given that, Brian, give it to the roll call.
Yeah, so good morning, Mr. Barber.
Here.
Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Mrs. Saunders Smith is absent. Mrs. Cherry.
Here.
Mr. James.
Here.
And Mr. Harmon.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Great. Before we go into the old business, Brian would like to make an announcement about a new team member.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. I did want to share that we have a new team member who has joined our office effective February 3rd. And that is Leo Ekujobi. And he is seated just here to my left. I'd like to introduce our new manager of our workforce development program. And Leo, if you would mind just taking a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
No problem. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am pleased to join what is already an assembled wonderful team. I hope that I'll live up to what I've observed so far. I came from the state of, workforce development in general, but I work for the corrections before at the adult level. And the workforce development coordinator, but left to see if I can actually make a greater impact with the juveniles. So before coming here, I was the community engagement business developer for the Department of Juvenile Justice. But I saw an opportunity to come close to home due to Suffolk here. And I noticed what was going on around us. Never Portsmouth is moving up and doing a lot of great things. So I thank Brian for giving me the opportunity to come join the team to see how we can at least work on empowered those who live here and moving for jobs. Make sure that they have the right set of training, that we're able to connect them with the employers, and think that we're going here. We are not going to promise anything except if you're looking for a job and you're in the city of Portsmouth, we will do everything we can within our capacity to make sure that you achieve that goal. So I thank you all, and I look forward to working with you.
Good. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, Leo. We're really excited to have Leo on board. He's dived right in. He's assessing our programs, kind of reassessing for the remainder of this fiscal year, and also gearing up for next year to relaunch and offer some new assistance for our residents to help them gain employment. So glad to have you, Leo. Thank you.
Old business.
A minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I trust that everyone had an opportunity to look at the January 21st minutes. Having done so, if there are no changes or revisions, I move for adoption of the minutes.
Okay.
All, Mr. Barber. Aye. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Smith is absent. Mrs. Cherry.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
And Mr. Harmon.
Yes.
Chair, the item is approved by a vote of 6-0.
That takes us into old business.
Yes, we've got a couple of updates for you this morning on some of the EDA owned property. The first is 1117, 1121 High Street. I think most of you know this property as the Shiny Computers building. And I'm going to ask one of our team members, Mrs. Julie Chop, to provide updates on the next two.
Okay. So we have received the preliminary construction documents for the roof replacement of 1117 and 1121 High Street and the interior renovations of 1117 High Street. And there are some utility issues that we're working on before those are ready to go out for bid. We're waiting on Columbia Gas to provide an estimate for running a gas line to 1117 High Street. Anybody has any questions?
Do you have any idea when RFP will, or the bids will go out?
We are, I believe the last thing we're waiting for is a response from Columbia Gas. So as soon as we get that, I believe that they'll be ready to go out for bid.
Okay.
We're close. We're close on this. I think in the process of plan development, the architect had identified, which we were not aware of, that there was not a gas line to the building. And that is the most efficient, economical way of serving the building from a heat standpoint. So that will need to be installed. So plans are 99.9% done, but for that one item. So we're very close.
Yeah.
Stand it. All right, and we're now on the 1028 High Street, Ms. Shopping.
Okay, so for 1028 High Street, the former homes property, we have received approval on the proposal to draft the demolition plans. So Kimley Horn has been instructed, or they have begun working on those plans, and they're projected to be completed within 30 to 60 days.
So, thank you, Julie. What we're working on now is to have the bid package for putting out a request for bids assembled. So as soon as the plans are finalized and approved, so that a permit can be issued, that package will immediately go out on the street. That will likely be a 30-day process for that. So we're looking at probably 60 to 90 days for that property for demolition and commencement. Just to give you kind of overall time. Right. Any questions on either of those two items as we move on?
The only thing I would say is that once the demolition is done, we might want to begin to have some conversation in terms of what we can do with that piece of land until we decide how it's going to be developed.
This property is currently being marketed by Harvey Lindsay. So this is one of the properties that they have been working to market. It is listed currently. I'm not sure we've had any serious inquiries. I suspect that's due to the fact that we've got some construction on the property that will change very soon. We'll make sure that gets updated as demolish the building. Market materials will reflect the fact that the improvements are gone. Your next item is just an update on the FY26 EDA budget committee. The committee has been established by the chair, and that consists of Treasurer Mrs. Saunders Smith as well as Mrs. Cherry. So both have agreed to serve on the budget committee. We are scheduled to meet this Thursday the afternoon to kick off that process. So really just be the start of it, and we'll have several meetings to follow. But our intent is to come before you at your March meeting with a draft budget document for consideration at that time. We are on schedule for a budget to be adopted before the start of the fiscal year, which is July. So I think we're well ahead of schedule, but we've got a plan to get that to you here for adoption in the spring. Not hearing any comments or questions, I'm going to move on to the next item, which is your EDA annual retreat. And Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to delay that conversation until we go into closed meeting because it may be linked to the Crawford Bay waterfront development and the innovation district. So we just need to make some decisions there before we can finalize the date.
Your next item is just a reminder that the Starbase Victory Gala is going to be held on March 13th. That is going to be at Rivers Casino Portsmouth. The EDA has sponsored this event as the champion sponsor. As a result, I believe we have a table with 8 seats. You should have received an email from Ms. Griffin regarding your interest in attending. If you could just please let us know today so that we can RSVP everybody with the organization that you are planning to attend, or if you're not planning to attend, let us know. We'll certainly look to make those spaces available to others. But if you could just inform us of your plans to participate. And thank you again for your sponsorship of the event. I think we've done this for a couple of years now, at least. It's well attended, and it certainly brings recognition to the program and helps raise funding for their programming for the year. Transitioning to new business, we do have a presentation this morning. Mr. John Joyce with Support Portsmouth Public Art and Matt Diggs are here to discuss the Wall Street Mural Festival, which is going to be coming up, I think, here in a few months. And John had reached out and asked to let you know what their plans are. I think if you recall last year, this was the first time they did it. It was a huge hit, really pretty major turnout, and I think they're looking to do the same again this year. So John, I'm going to turn the floor over to yourself and Matt, and I'm going to give you this clicker here.
Oh, you got the clicker.
That
Okay.
way you can drive the presentation.
Okay.
But feel free to come up front and please share what you got in that plan.
Maybe discuss a little bit what happened last year. In case you all didn't see it or read about it or see it on TV. We started off with just an idea that, well, there's a lot of alleyway there, and we already worked on what we call Vintage Road, which is the 900 block of High Street. And so a couple of the owners said, well, why don't you just paint back there? Hey, it's a great idea. And so I got our group together, and Matt was full of ideas too. And he's what brought life to it. Mine would have been just a bunch of murals. So I give him all credit. This is our team that did the Wall Street in May last year. Mother's Day weekend on the Saturday before Mother's Day weekend. You all know what this is, and obviously you're just discussing this plot here. We are obviously interested in what's going on with that too, but this was what I have a warehouse right next to it, and so this is what I see every day. So I started cleaning it up, trying to make it. This is our wall that faces Wall Street. Wall Street is, I think, just an alleyway. I don't know whether it's a legal term or not, but Google says it is. There's the Wall Street, and what we ended up doing on the day, I think, just before the festival. We had 10 artists all over. Most of them had some Virginia connections, but some New York, California, Richmond, DC, Maryland, as well as here. And we had them paint over a period of a month and some. And we had 49 applicants last year, which was quite overwhelming. There's the winners, or the artists, I should say, and the winners. This gentleman, he paints in the Philippines, Costa Rica, all over the world. We were quite lucky that some of them came. They just wanted to paint in Portsmouth. It's so funny. A lot of them had painted in Virginia Beach and Norfolk. They had not painted in Portsmouth. So that was some of the draw, we thought. This guy is from California, but originally I think from Virginia Beach. Chesapeake, okay. They all have their areas on. She's from I think Richmond, and she's also going to be doing another one for us this year. Not at this festival though. That's Missy Ella, in case you all don't know. This is a native. He paints Paradise Creek. One of the building owner wanted some water, and he was thinking Nag's Head or something like that. I think, nah, we don't have a beach here in Portsmouth. We've got to have some water. So I mentioned, the city park or things like this, and we decided on Paradise Creek. And there's trying to bring a little history into our art, along with just fun. DeCane is famous around here. I don't know how to describe his art, but it's quite catchy. People love it. I think there's a parking garage in Richmond just totally full of his. This is some of the way they start painting. Some of them gridded out, some just projected. Preston, he does doodling where they has a little computer program that on his app that it tells him where he's at when he's drawing and painting. And so that's what it ended up being. It's quite amazing to watch some of this. She was the People's Choice. She painted Missy Elliott and Pharrell along with her nephew, or he was. There he is. And then she projected, and then that's what it ended up being. Nico's probably the most, I'd say, picky, just very precise of everything. She took like a whole day just to grid everything out, just to do the grid. I couldn't have that much patience, but anyway, I wanted, because it's Wall Street, I wanted a bull and a bear, and she never painted a bull before, and so this is her patience of taking it. I wanted a friendly bull. I didn't want a vicious bull. So this is what she ended up doing. One of the little rows we call Ferdinand. There's what it ended up. How many people have seen this? Have y'all seen this art? You're okay, great. There was just my friend James. He just wanted to get in on the act, so he just painted that like a day and a half. He's amazing. And then the festival. We were hoping for shooting for 400 people. We got about 1,800. So that was quite overwhelming, but very fulfilling. I tell everybody, how many days in your life can you say nothing went wrong? I mean, that was one of the days. Nothing went wrong. I was like, I hope it will repeat itself, but you never know. We had about 30 some vendors, food vendors, art vendors, and then food vendors. We had paint by number for kids, but adults got on it. We had skateboarding, breakdancing. There was the breakdancing. It was the biggest hit, I think, of all. Matt knew it. I was saying, my son used to break dance, but I don't know. It was, standing room only. That's why we're sort of asking for bleachers because, breakdancing is a low sport and you have only so many people can see. And we had chairs, but if we had some bleachers, that would really help because I think it was just an overwhelming event. The excitement, you could tell the crowd was excited about it. That was really amazing. This was the outline of it. And then there's the breakdance. He's working on getting a stage or a dance floor. Oh God! I think that's you today, right there. Yeah. I think that is Edwin. I think here we have two elderly guys breaking. I told him once he had a child, that's all gonna go, and he just had. And we had a lot of where they get out there and practice if they wanted to. She didn't do much. Okay. Skateboarding was quite interesting. My older son had skateboarded and it was a little tamer, but at least I didn't have to worry about him going off on rails and damaging the property. It was really cool. They enjoyed it. Yeah, paint by numbers that we drawn things up and let people come in and paint. And we thought it'd be more for kids, but the adults were in line. We had actually a queue sometimes before about people waiting to paint. So people wanted to get in the act. We had a little lounge. Nikki, she came up with this lounge that the people sort of gave it sort of a home feel. One of the things about Portsmouth is it's like a home. This city is. It's not like a big prestigious thing where you have the, this was very comfortable. We had a lot of volunteers. We had probably about 15, 18 volunteers still looking for more. And we had, I'd say, about 30 sponsors, food vendors. And we had a sponsor. Well, I got up there, started it. And after a while, I couldn't really stop after, so painting, I those are tough. I'm going to have to think twice about doing it this year. If the wall's not there, I will definitely have to think about it because we had a sponsor that gave us all the coveralls, all the artists. And then this is this year's, and I'm going to let Matt tell you a little bit of this year's.
Yep. So as y'all saw, great turnout from last year, more than what we expected. 1,800 people showed up, so it was awesome. We're looking to double it this year. We're bringing in some more attractions. Of course, we're going to bring the breakdancing back. We're upping the prize money. We're getting some judges from out of state to come in this time as well. So it's going to bring more people from out of state to our area in Portsmouth. Also the skating, we're looking to expand the pop-up skate park. I'm in negotiations right now with a company called Fresh Park. They provide these pop-up skate parks that take up a whole street, but you can fit the whole park into a 7-foot by 3-foot space. So they're very modular in that sense. And then we're also going to add a fashion show into the event as well. So just to get some more, creativity, just another element of the arts, more of the culture, bringing that into the experience. So that's going to be fun as well. Of course, the murals, it was all about the murals. I can't say enough how street art can boost the economy of a city. Neon District is a good example right across the water from us. They did amazing work with the murals out there. Another area I would like to point out to y'all is Wynwood in Miami, Florida. If you've never heard about Wynwood, Google it. It's incredible what they've been able to do down there. And honestly, it's a big part of the vision for what we can do right here in Portsmouth. Because it is part of the Innovation District, this just ties perfectly with what the Innovation District is all about, as far as the arts, the crafters, the makers, education, all of that. And I like to think that we're, becoming some of the catalysts to what the innovation could be, and seeing the arts evolve in the city of Portsmouth. So yeah, we're looking forward to another great year. We would love to have you all support, financially, for the event this year, because it's going to take a lot to make sure we can do it all and manage it all, but also offer something that's going to be free to the public. It's not something we want to tax the public on to have them show up and, we're not profiting off this event. This is something that we just want to open up to the public so they can come out and enjoy. Just something fun for them to experience in the city of Portsmouth. That was a big selling piece to this event and something that we really wanted to provide value as well. So that's essentially.
This is the layout for this year. We're expanding a little bit. We're going all the way down Wall Street, all the way to Chestnut. And we're going to try to close a little bit of Queen off because it's not very functional anyway when we have the break dancing or skateboarding in there anyway.
And so we're looking at we have vendors all throughout this area here. We're going to expand the amount of vendors that we have this year as well. So that's going to be a really good opportunity for people to come out and make some good sales out here. Another thing we want to talk about is the applications we already have. So the artist call closes this Friday coming up, and we already have over 110 applicants. Last year, I made a mistake in the video. I said that we had artists from all over the world apply for the festival. It was really across the country, but I was really kind of just speaking into existence because now we actually do have artists from all over the world. We got people from Spain. Where else do we got?
Spain, Colombia, Brazil, Italy, Serbia, France, England, Canada.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they found out about it, but Mac and his little magic there has got it spread all over. And again, we have increased the amount to 1,750. That's not a lot of money for a beautiful mural, but at the same time, it's very competitive. Not even better than what Norfolk and Virginia does.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a nice incentive. I'm not sure how someone from Serbia would want to come over here. We started thinking about it. It's a great vacation. I mean, you get paid to paint, which you love to do anyway, and it pays for their way. And some of we also put people up in rooms of our members and stuff like that, so they don't have to pay hotel rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we can actually call this an international festival now, which is amazing. So yeah, we're really looking forward to this year. What else we got? Okay. Some more attractions. Battle of the Wall. So we had a great idea. I don't know if you want to speak on that.
Sure. Jim Cullen from the Mayor's Military Affairs Committee, and we wanted to get involved in this. We had our volunteers out there last year to assist at the event. We will again this year. But this year, the intent is to involve the military more and involve military volunteers more in this, since we are a military city in so many aspects. So we're going to have a contest, which will be won by the United States Coast Guard. I just want to announce that right now. But, it's going to be Navy versus Coast Guard, and there's going to be a large section of the wall. We were at a meeting last night discussing the theme, and I think the theme is going to be essentially battling cartoon dragons and sea monsters and things like that. But we're going to give them a theme.
Yeah.
And the two teams get to go at it they have a couple weeks actually in advance to start building this out. But the idea is to get more younger folks off the bases and get them out and into the community and involved in this kind of stuff, not just as the volunteers, which are the yellow vests that you see helping with events all over the city, but here actually getting out and doing some painting, and then hopefully joining groups like SPPA and investing more in the fabric of the city, not just seeing it as a place where I'm temporarily stationed.
Right. Yeah, so that's gonna be exciting. So yeah, Coast Guard versus the Navy, obviously a pretty big rivalry there. I already mentioned the fashion show, so it's gonna be fun. We're calling it like the fashion district, so it'll be a portion of the streetscape that we had last year. We'll set up a tent and we'll create a runway that they'll just walk into the middle of the dance floor where they turn around and strut and all that good stuff, and then they'll walk back. Spoken word, we'll have intermissions in between the breaking competition. Where they can come out, and we'll have a couple of spoken word artists come out and do
Spoken word, in case you don't know, because I didn't really know what it's called. It's sort of like a very forceful urban poetry.
very rhythmic.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
and that's what and I just think it's awesome. I mean, it's so much more to the heart than some of the poetry of maybe the 50s or something. I don't know.
And then Doodle Fest, we're going to add that to the lounge element. Doodle Fest, they've done some pop-ups in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, but essentially you just come out, bring a piece of paper and a pencil, and you literally just doodle. It sounds exactly what it sounds like, but it's more activities for the kids and anyone else that wants to get involved in the festival this year. And then Sparky Siren Fire Truck. I think y'all seen Sparky's around before at different events, but yeah, you can go and it's really cool what they've done with the fire truck. You play video games, outside of the fire truck.
Last year we had an arcade, mini arcade with pinball machines and stuff like this, and that Tony Pantelidis put out, and we'll be having that again. That's maybe for the people who wouldn't dare get on these video games.
Yeah.
And for some of the vendors, we've got newer. We requested a couple of vendors because we want to give it also as an activity. Keep in mind, Mother's Day weekend Mother's Day is the following day. So we thought, so got a flower arrangement, face paintings, henna tattoos. If you don't really want a real tattoo forever, that would be a good to impress somebody with 3D printing. And this is our budget. Brian, did you give it the budget to them before?
No, I think this is the first time I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
I included as well. I think you had another handout.
Oh, okay.
That has gone out. Everybody has that.
So our last year's budget was 20,000, and SPP's, besides getting a few donors and stuff, we really just sort of took it all in. It was well worth it, by the way. It was the best thing I think we've ever done. This year we've gone up to 30,000 because we raised the price for our artists. We also raised the price of some of the prize money and things like this, because that does attract more people. People will be more likely to come from DC or Raleigh or something like that if the money's good enough. $100 is very good income. Yeah, so I guess in closing, I'll ask you if you have any questions, but we definitely need support. I think that we're a perfect match for this group. Maybe sometimes I'm been told I'm impatient because I jump the gun sometimes on things, but this was a great opportunity last year, we thought. And I had been going to all these different meetings for the Innovation District to begin with, so it got me all excited, and I still am. And guess I'll just leave it at that. Any questions?
I think it's a great idea. My mother's a retired art teacher here in Portsmouth, so I grew up around art supplies and art stuff all my life. I think it's a wonderful idea. The question is, the walls where the murals are located, are you painting over the old murals? Or?
No, we actually have enough for one more, and then we're thinking about moving. Keep in mind, Vibe District, they have murals all scattered all over there, and it's really it's harder to get to. We like the fact that ours are all compact. But next year, we'll probably move them to either down near the Army Navy or maybe up near Effingham Effingham and High, that area there. There's a whole bunch of buildings there that I think I could get a hold of. Or we just may have a few of the artists painting areas through and then have the festival one other place. And people just have to go see them later on, maybe have a little van or some type of golf carts or something to go around to show everybody where they're at. But so no, we've got enough room to put them.
And do you have all your minutes in place? Have you met with council and did everything that?
We don't need a permission from council because it's public. It's public art. It's the First Amendment. All we need is the permission from the building owners, and we have. We actually received a lot of money from some of the building owners in the past. One mentioned to me that when we were first thinking about on Wall Street, he said, "Why do you want to put a mural back here in this alleyway? No one comes down here." Well, guess what? Well, I have a warehouse where the bull is on, and I go there maybe every 2 or 3 days, and almost invariably there are people there taking photographs. We've had vintage car enthusiasts all taking. It took 3 hours for them to put all their cars in front of all the murals, get out and take a picture, get back in, and it's like a caravan of people. We have nighttime. We have artists, photographers taking pictures of women in beautiful clothes in front of the sort of the grunge of it all. People, and they're not from here. They're from Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Richmond. I met a few of them from Richmond. One guy, we are on Google Maps. So if you do Wall Street murals on Google Maps, it'll get you right to us. There was a gentleman who was going to Virginia Beach on vacation. His family stopped his family and met, and I saw him there with his family taking pictures. He saw it on Google Maps. So it's getting out. And keep in mind, we have 20 murals at that place right now. After this festival, we'll have 32, maybe actually 33. That's a lot of murals in one block.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever go to places and try to find art, you'll probably try to go to the places that have the most concentration, right? Yeah. And so I think it's a great statement for the Innovation District to know that it's right there.
And I just want to add to that real quick, because we are drawing a lot of people there. I think in the future, it's going to be awesome. I can envision a restaurant where people go and, or a bar, they hang out, and then you got the murals right there, different events going on in that space as well. There's just so much that can happen in that particular area. The opportunities endless. They already have the apartments going up, which is really exciting as part of the Innovation District. So we're going to have that foot traffic through there as well. So that's just, it's just going to be great.
So you didn't need any city support as far as like street closures or security?
Oh, well, we have to go through all that.
Okay.
We have to go get a permit. This is on the street.
Right.
But as far as permission to put paintings on the walls, we don't unless it's city property.
Yeah.
And the city last year, they gave us videography, photography. I think they provided a van from downtown to bring people over. As far as, the actual money to pay the artist, no. So, but hopefully in the future. Yes.
I'm terribly excited.
Yeah.
I think it can become a destination point. A couple of questions that I have in that we often struggle with how to communicate information out to the community.
Yep.
You've done an outstanding job. What did you do to get people aware of this?
Honestly, so social media is big in our day and age. I think we were really fortunate when we did the artist call. We have a network of artists that we reached out to, and a lot of those artists, they just spread the word. And so some of them are really high profile too. The judge we had this year is Burt Visual. He saw one of his murals. He's coming back to judge this year. He is known. He did videos for Nicki Minaj and a bunch of other different music artists. So just having those connections and resources really helped propel the event. But also we reached out to the media. We had news outlets from the big news stations doing the interviews right on site there. And we had people from the media there the day of the event as well. So just using our resources the best we can, social media, spreading the word really helps get the word out.
What I will tell you, I had an opportunity to stop in some of the small businesses on High Street, and they were telling me that whenever there's a festival, they see a nice uptick in sales.
For sure.
I just think that this helps the city of Portsmouth, helps tax revenue. Is there any way that partnerships could be done with some of the small businesses? So for instance, maybe you get a 5% discount or something like that.
Well, Town Bank, Oaktown Business Association is probably going to be supporting us, and hopefully we can work that in. I mean, the event ends at 7 o'clock, so it's plenty of time for them once they're down to go. Now, keep in mind, it is a all day thing, so people don't all stay at the same time. If we had 1,800, we did not have 1,800 all at the same time. I don't think I could have handled that. Hard, but some people came for a couple of hours. Some people only did watch the break dancing. But they have ample time at the end when we give out the awards for them to go to the restaurants. So yeah, I'm hoping Town Business Association is going to help us. Bloom has helped us. They supported us last year. So hopefully, if you want to talk about it, we're having an after party, but we're going to try to have Matt come up with this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
With Cure? Yeah. So one business we are partnering is Cure Coffee Hop, right down on High Street. Excuse me. And so if you've been in the Cure, it's a beautiful space, and they already have rotating artists exhibits on a monthly basis in there. And so I reached out to them a couple weeks ago and talked about doing an offsite gallery for Wall Street Mural Fest, which basically we're going to have artists that have been in the Mural Fest from last year and local artists have opportunity to have their art showcased for a whole month at Cure. And then the day of the festival, we're going to have our post celebration that evening at Cure Coffee House. So it'll be a nice artist meet and greet. It's going to be a great opportunity for Cure for, this, as far as their business goes, because a lot of people are going to be coming in just from the Mural Fest alone to support that business. But to answer your question, I think we can talk about this, John, but I think there's opportunities to say, like, if you attended the Mural Fest and you get something stamped, if you could bring that to a restaurant, you get, 10% off your dinner menu or something like that. I think that's an opportunity to drive more people back into downtown to where they can go eat dinner afterwards or something like that. So I think there's some opportunity there to do that. We just have to reach out to the businesses and figure out how to set that up.
Our top state is try to convince people around here that walking 3 blocks is not a lot. If you go to New York, 3 blocks, you're lucky if you're 3 blocks from the metro stop or the subway stop. But here it's like, we have to walk. Oh, it's only 2 blocks past Effingham. Only 2 blocks past Effingham. But anyway, as far as sponsorships, we have got bits and pieces of people sponsoring, maybe part of the break dancing and part of the children's activities. I would like in the future someday that maybe to be mutual partners with someone, whether it's EDA or whatever, to have equal billing. We don't. SB just wants to have this program. We do all the work. So that'd be something we may want to talk about. Any questions more?
Is there anything that the city can do to make that space a little cleaner?
Well, the
outdoor lights,
you
paper.
talk about Hatton Street itself. I spent a lot of time over there. Matt Bard from roofer, a magnet, big gigantic magnet you roll, and I must have got like 4 or 5 pounds of nails and screws. No wonder I have flat tires all. And I've cut the grass a few times. So it'll be spruced up. You can only spruce it up so much. You don't want to get to totally erase all the grunge. That's part of the attraction.
I did put a request into the city to have the Hatton Street cul-de-sac portion of that street paved, because that's where the skating is going to be this year. And so it's, you know, it's important to the skaters to have a surface that's as smooth as possible for the skating events. That is one area I did reach out to the city for to try to get that paved. They said it wasn't on their list to get paved this year, unfortunately, but I got a meeting with Park and Rec actually this morning to talk about some other solutions that we might have for that. So lights would be great though. We had talked about having string lights going through the alleyway. So at nighttime, everything's nice and visible, creates a beautiful scene if you're walking through there with the street lights, the string lights hanging through.
We solar powered.
Right.
And yeah, no problem. So, any more questions? I'm glad you're all excited about it. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't been down there, please do. It's yeah, you can drive through, although I think you'll want to get out and look at it closer. But as I say, it's going to have 30-some murals by May the 11th. It'll be 30-some murals out there. So we're going to try to reach out to a lot more of the schools. And getting hold of the schools is tougher actually than getting hold of artists. I don't know why. We have a hard time communicating with schools. But also we're going to do for assisted living and that groups too, because the older people love art. They also would love breakdancing for that. That was obvious last year. So.
Yeah. You mentioned school. I do want to thank Joe Harmon. He actually helped put a bug out for us in the school district last year too, well, sharing the flyer and whatnot. So Joe, we appreciate you doing that.
Maybe the elementary school kids and stuff need it more too, because they really enjoy the thing, that number. Yeah.
Great presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ken.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Matt, thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
We're going to move on. We have one additional new business item, which is an update on your business investment grant program. We have wrapped up the third quarterly round for the fiscal year, which ended January 31st. And I'm going to ask Autumn Bailey to provide an update on a couple of the programs, and Chris will share on the real estate grant program. So, Autumn, turning it over to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Can you get closer to? We just closed out our third round for our EDA business investment grant. I manage the business development and the business development grant. So I'm going to provide an update for you today. For the fiscal year, since July, we have received 23 applications in total. To date, 20 of those grants have been approved and funded. We just had our regular picture debut. And I'm very proud to say that we had 7 women-owned Black businesses that all received the business development grant. So we posted those pictures about a month ago. So I was very proud of that moment. So of the 23 grants for the business development, again, 40,000 was approved and funded. Of those 23 businesses, 95% were SWAM. So 16 were women owned, 2 were veteran owned, and 18 were minority owned. For this round 3, that ran from January 1 to January 31st, we received 3 grant applications. To date, we are, still processing that paperwork. They are in the approval round right now, being reviewed by Brian. And we will, should have those, finalized, in the next coming weeks. So our next slide, the Business Acceleration Grant. To date, for the fiscal year, we have received 10 grant applications. Up until recently, we had one grant that was approved. That grant was for $5,000. That grant applicant is in the process of purchasing their items and will be submitting the receipts for reimbursement soon. So once we receive those, that paperwork, that funding will be paid out. So this round, we received 3 grant applications, and those are currently being reviewed, and should be processed soon. So of the 10 grant applications, 100% were SWAM. So, SWAM businesses, 3 were women-owned, 2 were veteran-owned, and 6 were minority-owned. This round, we had 100% participation, for SWAM, and 3 were women-owned, and 3 were minority-owned. Any questions? And this is, this round, this is the most applications we received for the acceleration, since I've been on board. So, the funding that we did have available will, most likely be exhausted.
Is there any, can you attribute a reason for the increase in applications?
I think it's just marketing. I think it's just timing as well. The businesses, it's a reimbursement grant, so the businesses have to have the money up front. I think that's the reason it was initially slow. And we continue to push the program. And I think the other applicants running out of money probably entice people to move a little faster to get the applications in because they saw that it was first come, first served. So it's a lot of different determining factors. You have a question?
And do you ever do a follow-up?
Yes, every year.
Sure.
Yeah, every year we circle back around to see what businesses are still open. So we do that every fiscal year.
Well, is what I was asking in addition to that, do you ever do a follow-up survey with how did you find out about the program and those types of things? Just a couple of questions just to figure out how to put a little bit of what I call the top spin on the outreach.
We haven't done an official survey with that data, but the grants are so hands-on. The people that I see in our information sessions every quarter are typically the ones that apply for the grants. But we can definitely add that into the process just so we can have that data.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions?
You know, one of the things we might want to do, following up on Commissioner's comments, is maybe we need to define some criteria that we like to see reported out quarterly from these programs. Because it comes up very often. Well, how did they do over the last year? I don't need to do it. Maybe if we formalize it that this particular month, we're going to give a formal update in terms of how many people are still in existence, what communication was effective to them, et cetera. I think that would help all of us collectively as a board to maybe just understand some of the pieces a little bit better.
Yeah, it would also help us determine what will be a better way as far as the acceleration grant, how to motivate people to apply. I agree.
We do have one additional grant, which is the real property investment grant. And I'm going to have Chris, I'll just jump in real quick just to give you an update. I think we've got a few new applications.
Yes. So, and this one will be really quick. As you all know, well, first off, good morning, commissioners, councilmen, y'all. You may remember that we actually went a little over what we had allotted for the past round. So we shifted 50,000 out. We've got 4 applications. I'm still waiting. The reason that I don't have, applications for you to look at, I'm still waiting on, some final pieces, some additional quotes for them to do that, but, I've got 4. 2 will actually, be somewhere asking for probably close to the max that they're allotted, which will bring them to the board. I have another applicant that has, 2 in for 2 separate buildings. Those are fairly small, $5,000 ask and $6,000 ask. So, you likely won't see those, but, we do have 4. And if we don't get to the full 50,000, we will likely be a couple $100 shy. I think we're sitting maybe around 49,600. So, we did have one applicant come in after the round had closed. So depending on if there is any left, we might look at it, but if it's only a couple $100, we will likely ask them to look at the next July round. But that's kind of where we are with that. We did get enough applications to pitch that action. Anyone have any questions? Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Tillett?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that does conclude our new business items, and Chair, we are in need of a closed meeting today.
I move that we go into closed meeting, pursuant to code sections 2.2, 3711A dash or .3 for the purpose of discussing acquisition, disposition of real property where the discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. Specifically regarding the acquisition, disposition strategies within the innovation district, strategic acquisition, dispositions of 1220 High Street, 1021 through 1107 High Street, 8 Crawford Parkway, 2 Crawford Parkway, 2 Harbor Court, and 3 Harbor Court, in pursuant to section code subsection 2.2 3711 A.6 for the purposes of discussion, investment of public funds where compensation or bargaining is involved. Where if made public, initially the financial interests of the government unit would be adversely affected, specifically regarding the small business finance RFP and a request for assistance from the support Portsmouth Public Art for the Wall Street Journal Festival in the quarterly community investment grant.
Second.
That was a mouthful, sorry.
Did a great job. So we have a motion by Vice Chairman Barber and a second by Commissioner Brown. Is there any discussion on the item? Hearing none. Mr. Barber?
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Summer Smith is absent. This is Cherry.
Yeah.
Mr. James?
Yes.
And Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Chair, the item is approved by a vote of 6-0. We are now in a closed meeting.
So they have like
I move that each commissioner certified to the best of his or her knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion which the closed meeting was convened, were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting just concluded.
Second.
Any other discussion? I'll read the roll. Mr. Barber?
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yeah.
Mr. James?
Yes.
And Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Chair, the item is approved by a vote of 6-0. We are now in an open meeting.
I move to make an amendment to the agenda to include the allocation of funding from our quarterly community grant.
Second.
Harmon. Discussion on the item. Hearing none. Mr. Barber?
Aye.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Harmon.
Yes.
Hereby vote 6-0. The item is added to the agenda.
I make a motion that, we allocate $15,000 to the SPPA Wall Street Mural Festival.
Do we want to take action on the added item to the agenda?
Oh, okay. No, wait.
Doing that separately or?
No, that's already on the agenda. That's on the agenda.
Yeah, so you can proceed with this motion and then go back.
Go back. Just want to make sure the item you added that we're going to take action on.
Yeah. I was thinking of this.
Okay. I'm sorry, excuse me. Your item was
Allocate $15,000 to Wall Street Mural Festival.
second.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Brown, is there any discussion on the item? Hearing none, Mr. Barber?
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharon?
Yes.
Mr. James?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
The item is approved by a vote of 6-0.
Okay, I'd like to add a motion. Do I have to add it to the agenda?
No. it's
Okay,
already-
I'd like to make a motion to award the quarterly grant to the Dream Center and Mr. Carlton Copeland for Blacktop Basketball Youth Program, $1,200.
Question on the item, hearing none, Mr. Barber?
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharon?
Yes.
Mr. James?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Here, the item is approved by a vote of 6-0. Moving on to items submitted by board members.
Question, I noticed some construction going on at the former 7-Eleven corner of Effingham and London Street. Do we know what's going on there?
We do not. I know there's some construction fencing that's been put on, but I haven't seen if they've had any construction activity. But no, we don't. Certainly look into that.
Also, would just like to remind the board, if there's any speakers who would like to present here at the meeting, please send a recommendation to us.
Report backs. We have no report backs for you this month.
Everybody be safe. Make it through the snow. See you next month. Meeting is adjourned.